Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on another Traefik online meetup. My name is Patricia Dugan. We're stoked to have you here. Today we have a very exciting day with HolidayCheck. First, we have a little bit of news for you so you can know what's shaking, and I'll introduce Perry. So I'm Patricia Dugan. I run and design, lead, execute marketing stuff for Traefik and Canary to help the community know best how to use our product to create things with you. And so as part of my initiatives, the Traefik Online Meetup is some of that output. So what do I want to tell you about today? I want to tell you how this is going to roll and tell you about our upcoming online meetup. So what happens today is Perry from HolidayCheck is going to share how they're using Traefik to transform their monolithic environment over into using microservice ecosystem, using Kubernetes and such. It's going to be a fantastic talk, and we're going to welcome your question and answers. So Manuel Zaff is our upcoming one. I will be entering the registration link for Manuel Zaff, which will be on May 16th. And that's going to be about Traefik as your Kubernetes Ingress controller deployed on Google Kubernetes Engine, which is a nice segue after Perry's talk today. And so hopefully you can join us for that. Also, please keep your eyes in the chat box for a link to the career page to work with HolidayCheck. I have now worked with this team to create this meetup and some other stuff, and their team would be amazing to work with. Very cool, very smart people. We will be at some upcoming events. We will be at DockerCon, KubeCon EU, KubeCon US, GopherCon US. So please get in touch with us if you'd like to hang out. And until then, now let me tell you what we have on the plate today. We are speaking with Perry from HolidayCheck, and his talk is titled, well, let me have him tell you because I didn't write it down, but what we're going to talk about today is how they're transforming over into Kubernetes and a container ecosystem, and how they're using cool stuff like GKE and service discovery, and really how Traefik has become the one proxy to rule them all for them. So we encourage you to add your questions in the chat box, and what's going to happen is after this, the video will go to YouTube, and the questions and answers will go to a gist, and I will send you all of these beautiful assets after when they're prepared, so you can watch them and learn from them further and share with your friends. And until then, please feel free to direct message me or chat with me in the chat box, and follow us all on Twitter. We have HolidayCheck Labs and at Traefik and at Canary. So thanks for coming, and now we hand it over to Perry.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to have you all here. So let me just share my screen, and we are heading for our short journey about HolidayCheck and Traefik. Hope Zoom is not interfering here too much in my slides. So yeah, I'm here to give you a short, but for sure a deep dive into our journey with Traefik the last 2 years as our main engine for proxying requests around the globe to HolidayCheck and inside HolidayCheck. So first couple of words about myself. I work as an engineer here at HolidayCheck. Main focus is here on platform, tools, and infrastructure. Since we have around 20 teams, so we have to somehow support them so that they can do their superpowers on Kate's. And you can find me out on these handles. So I would be glad if you have any questions afterwards. And if you want to learn more about HolidayCheck, so please follow the URLs or our handle on Twitter. Couple of words about HolidayCheck, since it's quite a German company. we're operating one of the biggest independent hotel review and booking portals in the German-speaking area. It means around 8 million of reviews in total. We have around 10K reviews every day floating into our platform for people that went to vacation and came back. And we try to become here the most holiday maker friendly company in the world. Actually, holiday maker is not that big known word in English, but it's at least for us a good summary. This is our target group. Nevertheless, the technical contents we will present you today are based on the shoulder of other people, which I had really a great time to work with. So I try here to do my best that I give their work in a good shape and a good overview for you. So first of all, I would like to give kudos to my former colleagues and Traefik maintainers. First of all, to Timo, who really made a great PRs here in stuff like performance, integration testing, and also around Marathon and Kates. And also to Marco, who really contributed a lot here around metrics and the retry middleware. And of course, you would like to replay this kind of great story, you could put here your name and contact us, since like everyone in this industry is doing, we are also hiring. So this small kit is here just only a placeholder for you and our team. However, let's go deeper into our agenda for today. Have 3 topics for you: a short overview about the platform that we call the HolidayCheck Cloud, about why Traefik, and a short retrospective of the last years. And then in the end, we will go more technically in 3 features that we, let's say, use extensively in HolidayCheck to drive our business. So some facts about our cloud. We're a medium-sized company in Germany, around 400 employees. However, we're not doing all the cloud by ourselves. We rely heavily here on GKE and G-Cloud. However, we are around 250 services, big, 15 engineering teams, and really hundreds of databases around in VMs. We have a really high seasonal traffic. At our peak, we have to serve around 9,000 requests per second, and Traefik is doing here really well. However, like every company, we have also legacy, and HolidayCheck is operating the last 19 to 20 years almost. When we started, let's say, piling up software in the early 2000s, we started with monolithic applications, and by that we also compiled a list or piled up list of tools that helped us maintain all these monoliths. However, around 2013, 2014, we were starting breaking that down to services, and the tools that we had that time to drive this migration to more service-oriented and microservices were still Marathon methods as an orchestrating utility, HA proxy, Zookeeper for stuff like service discovery, and Bamboo for CD. However, it became harder and harder every day to deliver this task of a great experience for our engineering teams. And we went back to the scratchboard and identified a couple of criteria why we should move away. First of all, lack of community. Marathon Meadows is a great project. However, Kubernetes has a really great community, so this was a big thing. Next thing was we have 4 tools and we have almost 5 different programming languages, and our platform and infrastructure team is very small. So having to be good at all of these tools is nearly too impossible for us. So we had to somehow cut down the complexity. Some of the tools are really for over a decade here, like HA proxy and others, just a couple of years. So you have also different maturity levels. So we wanted to somehow go on an equal level of them. So around 2014, 15, we decided to say, hey, since we have to migrate to Kubernetes, let's rethink every piece of our tooling. And one of these decisions were to have a look on every different proxy we had out there at that time, Envoy and Linkerd in their old Scala form, and of course Traefik. And we had to make here a tough decision in order to say to deliver with less complexity and also with a good community. And since Kubernetes is a Go project, one of the big reasons why we migrated to Traefik was less language diversification. So it is very nice if you go from a very mature project like HA Proxy to something really new, which you have to learn and you have to trust and learn to trust that. And in order to fix bugs, you have to master this tool. And Traefik, written in Golang, was really a pleasure to contribute here. Next thing is migrating from one orchestrator to the other, migrating away from a self-baked cloud to a real cloud on Kubernetes and GKE. It can be done only gradually, and as an ingress controller with multiple providers, Traefik was really a great tool here. Although we didn't shift Traefik at the same time on both providers, we did that with a big switch for the teams. They could decide when they switch, but we had this option and this was great. Beyond that, it was really great to have a nice community around Traefik to extend, improve tools like metrics and tracing, especially tracing, which is one of our still missing upstream patches for OpenCensus. For sure, the other parts, like the 135 PRs of Marco and Timo got in, and it was a big win. Nevertheless, we just went through a lot of, let's say, iterations, and one of the big things we wanted to do with our proxy is to deliver new features like Canary releases for our teams with a very low development costs. We will see that in our future highlights later. So just my last point here is, at that point in time, 2 years back when we started with Traefik, maintaining a node pool with only Traefik on that was our big win, that we could take this small piece of software and scale it for our demands. And of course, take it for granted, since our Traefik is very seasonal, we make heavily use of auto-scaling here. So enough of a presentation about platform and Traefik as a new member in our team. I would like now to highlight a couple of our features, which are really bread and butter for our platform and for our engineering team. First of all, I would like to go in a topic which seems very easy for a lot of people as service discovery. However, service discovery has a lot of, let's say, creating also a convention for your teams on how they do service discovery and not rediscover the whole service discovery again. In this picture, you see how we really, let's say, align our cluster. And we have two pools on GKE, one for our compute pool, where all our services are running, and one for Traefik. However, as you can see, normally if you deploy something on GKE and you just create an ingress, probably the GCP load balancer will go up and fire and say, yeah, here's Traefik for you. However, we don't let that happen. That's why it's gray here. However, what we want to do is that people that use their application want to communicate with another application to have a very easy work through that. For example, here, one team has written the application caller app, which has 2 pods. On that 2 pods, we create a new, through a volume mount, put an etc host entry so that people can, when they call another service, they normally don't call that service directly, but they call Traefik instead, and Traefik can manage the communication to the target application, for example here, service app. This ensures quite a lot of things. First of all, people have to remember just one proxy URL or a proxy host for making calls to other services, and everything else is done with paths. Second, people really don't need to implement a lot of features by themselves, since a good proxy can implement them for them. Retries or tracing metrics, and the implementation of our services are really smaller than in other needs. And one big benefit, which is for sure now the big kid in the block, is the service message and whatever. It's for now, let's say, not entirely eliminated, but we don't see currently the need, since most of the things we do here, like service discovery, metrics, tracing, are done by this simple mechanism, so that people can have these features by Traefik. So for us, Traefik is the thing that really rules everything in our platform, and it's really nice to have that on our platform. One of the features that is really easy done if you use that as we deployed Traefik on our platform is retries. I know retries in an HTTP world is very hard. Even GET requests are really not trustful as that you can retry them. However, since we created this kind of convention that everybody talks to everybody through Traefik, we can easily find through the trace callback if a communication can happen or happened between Traefik and a backend. And if not, we can use this callback to retry things for you. So it's a very easy thing to do, since it's supported and built in Traefik, and it's for teams, let's say, with zero cost. I mean, if they call Traefik and through Traefik call another service, they get this feature for free. And this is what I meant by low-cost features. So same goes in for metrics and tracing. So people call in Traefik and they get nice metrics about HTTP request duration and so on. So one last feature I want to highlight, which is also the new kid in the block in HolidayCheck, is Canary releases. It's not a solely Traefik related topic. However, Traefik went here, like the rest of the industry and other proxies, to create, let's say, some kind of annotation or use an annotation inside the ingress spec, which gives Traefik enough information to split traffic across multiple deployments of the same application. Here we have an example of an application called here backend one, which gets, according to the current ingress spec, a service wait for gets 60% of your traffic. And when we release and deploy the Canary, we deploy, of course, two deployments here. Once the Canary, once the control group we want to compare with. So we apply here two service weights, one for the Canary and one for the control. And here is where our, let's say, major part of not extending traffic, but doing our own homework is implementing a small controller that first reads this deployments and reaches out to activate or scale this Canary and control deployments according to the traffic service weights. And if that's done, it activates them so that Traefik can give them the amount of traffic that is put on the service weights. This is very easy done in terms of the tools you need to do that is just understand that you just comply to the ingress specification, and for sure this will be also easy in the new CRD that is coming in Traefik 2.0. But it's just only annotating something and then use this information in other parts of your Kubernetes environment. In our case, the Canary controller maintaining the state of Canary and control deployments. With that said about our features, I would just like to summarize here why and where Traefik served us very well. First of all, and this was really the biggest bet we went in Traefik 2 years ago, was easy contribution barrier, and it's really still happening across the 1.x releases. We haven't had a look yet in 2.x, but we believe this will be the same since we know the people there. And it's really an amazing, amazing work being done and contributing as a major key for HolidayCheck. The next thing is contributing in a project means that this project doesn't have complexity. So the simple concepts you find on the documentation, like the front ends, the back ends, the endpoints, and all these routers are really understood, and you have this simple middleware concept which you can very easily explain to new team members, and they can easily contribute in the project by themselves. And finally, I think the bet, we want the bet that we can deliver very, very fast, low-cost features for our teams, and go, let's say, one step further if really a team wants something very specific. But from the 80% margin of teams, they live with these low-cost features, and they are very happy. So by saying that, I would like to thank you for attention and give back to Patricia for our Q&A session. Thank you very much.
Cool, thank you, Perry. We have a couple questions coming in. So the first one is, did you have configuration shifts between the multiple traffic pods behind the service traffic's VIP? And if yes, how did you manage it?
Let me rephrase that if I got the question correct. If we had this shift of traffic between the multiple providers on Traefik's what? I didn't get the last point.
Did you have configuration shifts between the multiple traffic pods behind the service traffic's VIP? So between the multiple traffic pods. So did you have config shifts between multiple traffic pods?
Traffic shifts and config shifts in terms of traffic configuration. Probably the configuration is, I mean, the configuration winner here is the K8s API. So you get the updates by that, and Traefik is managing that well and across multiple replicas. That's, if I understood that correct. So
cool. And then feel free to ask more questions in the chat box, and if you'd like to clarify that question, we'd really appreciate it. And then, is your traffic image a custom one or the upstream one?
We currently use a custom one. However, since we upstream the same changes again into Traefik, currently we're just only ahead of we are on 1.77, and we have just one simple patch for open census. So that's a big change. So we never, let's say, contribute in something that we haven't opened as a PR or a discussion in the official Traefik repository.
And then could you dig a little bit deeper into the language diversity, what that used to look like for you and how that looks now?
Mm-hmm. Sure. The time we used Marathon Mesos, Zookeeper, Bamboo, and HA proxy, you can count Java for Marathon or Mesos. You have C and C or C++, if I remember correct, for HA proxy. You have again Java for Zookeeper. So in total, we have 3 or 4 languages. Currently, since the world platform is mainly in Golang, we have only this one language solving problems. Traefik is in Golang, our tooling is written in Golang, and K8s is, of course, in Golang. Beyond that, if you count YAML, that's the second language we have in the house.
Cool. So this has made things a lot easier, though, right? Since you started.
A lot.
And how about, are you running Traefik as root user inside the custom image?
No. Why should I?
That's a good question. Why should he?
I mean, it's Traefik is normally a container in a normal pod on Kubernetes, just only on a specific node pool because we use taints for that. But it's a normal non-root user traffic here, container here.
Yeah, I guess it's the default and downstreams. The official Docker image is run as UID 0.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And I would love to just know if you're using Let's Encrypt, or do you have thoughts about Let's Encrypt? I know it's a kind of a fan favorite.
Sure. We don't have Let's Encrypt in there since it's a long-awaited feature also in Traefik 2.x. And it's one of the features we will, let's say, take a closer look when it's released. Same goes for the TCP routing thing. We really can't wait for to test that. As I said, we have tons of databases in GC virtual machines. So we would like to rule them also through one proxy, but it's not put in stone. Same here for Let's Encrypt.
So are you still using JVM?
On service level, a lot. The ecosystem is, let's say, since we're an e-commerce company, separated across JVM, Node.js, and Python and stuff like that. So it's, let's say, yeah, in services and cron job, yes, not on the platform.
Cool. And then I would be curious to know about your speed and agility, like how that's been affected by moving over to a container ecosystem.
A lot. I mean, previously, I mean, I'm not so long here in the company, but at least from what I learned by my colleagues here, we had a couple of major teams, and now we scale around 15 teams to 20 teams, and they are quite diverse. I mean, HolidayCheck has different products like cruises, package-only holidays, hotel-only. So the teams diversify in their products so much that they want and they can be only independent if they really follow, let's say, a microservice environment by creating APIs and so on and contracts, and not completing all the tasks in the same monolithic application. It worked very well for us, and it scales quite well currently, if you see the number of teams we have.
Right on. And I think you might have touched on this, but did you cover how many microservices you're using currently?
They are currently 250. We're counting. However, we would like to see less of them. I mean, it's always having a lot of services doesn't mean it's a good thing. And we eliminate if something is not used anymore. Nevertheless, we have this number of 250 currently.
That's cool. And then you have, that's big. And then you have how many teams?
Currently 15, but it's since our OKRs are shifting around, it's, let's say, it depends on which topics we have in our focus. Maximum I have seen has been 20, so it's, let's say, this margin, 15 to 20 teams.
Cool. And you know, we were talking earlier about HolidayCheck and their engineering team, and some of the core competencies and the culture really that they bring to the table. And I have to say, if you're an engineer who catches this video and is looking for work, I'm really impressed with the style that HolidayCheck brings to the table as far as the work style and how he basically said, build good people. How they build good people, they find the amazing things in you and then help really bring that out so as to create amazing technology. So yeah, I'm not an engineer, or I would, you know, well, I'd probably be working for Containers, but, or I'd go to HolidayCheck. But yeah, I think I was impressed by that. So you should check out the link. And actually, if you're catching this video, please feel free to email me at patricia@containus, patricia@contain.us, and I'll give you all the information to get in touch with them. And I thought we should give a shout out to Timo, and then anyone else you'd like to give a shout out to. Yeah, do we have their Twitter handles?
Sure, we have them. Let me change back. Here we are.
Yeah, there's Timo. And then I haven't said his name before, so I don't want to ruin it.
It's Marco Jantke, but it's in his country Jantke.
M Jantke. We do have one more question, which is, are you running Traefik as a daemon set on each node? Thanks, Rael, by the way. Are you running Traefik as a daemon set on each node bound to 80 or using deployments?
We are currently using deployments.
Do you have anything more you could say about that? Rael, does that help you at all, or do you want some more details?
I'm not sure where this question points to. However, it's not deployments related, but since we deploy traffic on a specific tainted node pool, and we want to have the traffic going only through this node pool in the first place, like outer traffic, we have specific health checks on these machines, but it's not related to deployments or daemon sets. I think we started with that with deployments in the first place and somehow stick to that. I'm not sure anymore about this decision. It's way too long away.
Well, he's saying we notice a performance increase when running it as a daemon set with the security context set to 80, avoiding kube proxy.
Oh, okay. Good to know that. We have been so far very happy about the performance we have on that. However, thank you very much for the tip. We will discuss it in our team. Yeah,
you know, if anything came out of this, this is a very good thing. Cool. I'll be, and then Timo saying, IIRC, we started off with daemon sets, but we moved to deployments since daemon sets, at least at the time, did not support proper rolling restarts. I'm sorry if that didn't come out of my mouth very eloquently. So he's saying they started off with daemon sets, but moved to deployments since daemon sets back then didn't support proper rolling restarts.
Thank you very much, Timo.
Yeah, hats off to Timo. Cool. Well, we welcome some more questions. Otherwise, we're going to wrap up, or you can sit here and Perry and I have pretty deep conversations. So we'll wrap up unless you have more comments. But as I mentioned before, here is the link to the next webinar, which is on April 18th, which will be a nice segue talking about Ingress with GKE by Manuel Zapp. And he's also Germany based. And then this will be published next week on YouTube, and I will send an email out to everyone with this, and we'll answer these questions on the gist. Other than that, much appreciation for everyone who's showing up. Perry, do you have anything you want to say on the way out?
I would like to thank you everyone who showed up today, and yeah, thank you for the questions and the tips.
All right, we're going to close up. Thanks everyone. Peace out. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Perry.